Okay, well, I think we should maybe move on, Les. We've got loads to get through this morning.
We do.
I'm going to be
I'm
speaking
bracing
to Paul
myself.
Guilfoyle from CSI in just a minute. But before that, Fridays and fives go together. We've got the 5 things we didn't know this time last week, and we're looking for your 5-word Fridays. Have we got any in yet?
I actually got one in yesterday.
Yeah.
I did. I got one in from Victoria, from Murray, and she's preparing for Bucky Craft Fair tomorrow. That's in the Fisherman's Hall from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's not really 5 words, but we'll let you away with it, Victoria.
Mine is working tonight, but weekend off.
Working tonight, weekend off. Nice one. Mine is race marshal at Bishop Briggs Triathlon. That's
Nice
on
one.
Sunday. I think it's a full shift. It's sort of 9 till 5, I think.
goodness.
So, yeah. So, we want to know what you're up to today and over the weekend in 5 words. So, get them in and I will do my best to read them all out. So, give us a call 0500 92 95 00. Email fred at bbc.co.uk or text 80295.
We've scoured the scene, collected the evidence, examined the results, and it is one of the world's most popular TV franchises. An audience of, pin back your ears, Les, 73 million viewers. That's
amazing.
almost as many as we have listeners. Let's welcome Paul Guilfoyle to the show. Good morning, Paul.
Hey, good morning, Fred.
You'll be known to our listeners as Detective Jim Brass. What brings you over to the UK? You're working here?
I'm coming over to visit friends, see the theatre. I do it every year, at least maybe twice a year. I really enjoy London, and I've worked here a number of times. I have some clubs. I get around. I love the city, so I'm enjoying it. By the way, Fred, you're not dressed as Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm listening to your accent. I think it's probably Robin Williams pulling a stunt on me.
It is.
I was in that movie with Robin, and are you sure?
I'm quite sure.
Okay.
Hey, right. Well, now tell you who else was in that movie. The American comedian. Well, I'll tell you in just a second when he comes back to me. I'm getting to that age, Paul.
No,
I can't remember
Fred.
things.
Well, you're going to have the weekend off, I heard. So, and you just came back on the sleeper all night. I don't expect you to remember anything.
Listen, let's talk about what you're going to see in London then, because there is a big hit London show has just gone over to Broadway. One Man, Two Governors.
Yeah, I saw that in previews last year.
Right.
Yeah,
with James
I saw
Corden.
Yes, I did. I saw it last year in previews.
Right.
You know, I said, gee, if I had any money, I was going to call you up, Fred, and say, let's put a little investment in this because this is a big hit. I think it's all due to me that it's so successful, I think. No, it was a great play and great fun, wasn't it? I mean, have you seen it?
I've not. But,
no.
Because James was in London and then he toured with it.
Right, he's in New York now.
And now he's in New York, but it's still playing in London, but with a new guy in the lead.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to see it with my wife and some friends when I go back to New York next week.
What else are you going to see in London?
Well, I'm going to see Mr. Man tonight. I saw Anna Chancellor, a friend of mine, last night in the Browning version, which was excellent. And I saw Long Day's Journey Tonight with David. He was great. And Laurie Metcalf.
How do you know Anna Chancellor? She was Duckface in Four Weddings and a Funeral.
I just heard that today. No, of course I remember. Yeah, I just know her through friends, socially.
Still trying to think of that comedian that was in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Well, it'll come to you, but it'll be after we're off the air. You can call me up. I'll give you a special 800 number.
We'll do that. I was saying that there's 73 million viewers worldwide.
73 million, wow.
That's a lot of people, Paul.
I know. And we're trying to fit them all into this little booth that I have here. No, I'm kidding. But that is a lot of people. And, it's great. I'm grateful for that. It's just, the success of the show, as everyone is. I mean, it's a nice feeling, as we all know, to have something resound when you do your work.
What have you appeared in yourself in Broadway?
No, I've been in about 50 plays. I mean, I won't list them but someone last night was saying, I don't know if this quote is, what happened, someone was talking about a Shakespeare play. I don't know if it's in Richard II or Richard III. And I said, well, I was in both, I'll tell you, so in other words, I've been in a lot of plays and a lot of movies. Yeah, but I enjoy trying to stay in the current thing that I'm up to. So what I'm up to now is Captain Jim Brass taking apart a crime scene and bringing the hammer down and getting the criminals away to jail. That's the idea. And I think the show kind of exists on the level where people are looking for, truth at some deep level. I mean, they want something to be the ultimate thing that they can say, you did it. I mean, which we rely on technology and evidence. And also it's a nice puzzle to solve, I think.
And so it's very much of its time, CSI, because just when the forensics were developing all these facilities for making the investigations so precise, you bring it to TV in this drama.
Well, I think if you maybe remember, when we started, the O.J. Simpson trial was on, which got a lot of attention worldwide even. I remember being in Italy when he was declared not guilty, and because there was so much evidence and the forensics guys were taken apart, really, by O.J.'s attorneys for days and days and days, that we learned a lot about evidence collecting and stuff like that. And so I think that piqued the audience interest, frankly. And I think they wanted also the forensics evidence to be more strongly represented. I mean, so it's curious that after that, there's a tremendous amount of television shows about forensics on television, crime scene solving.
Mm-hmm. And how many cities does it cover now? Because there's Miami.
Yeah.
New
Well, I think there's
York.
going to be CSI Edinburgh soon, I think. We're going to go up there and solve crimes in old castles. It's Miami and New York and Las Vegas, and it's franchised, as all things American are. And whether that's good or bad, I don't know. But it certainly does, create a big blanket of CSI all over the world.
We've got an actor and director up here, David Heyman, who has played TV detective. No, not from.
I know.
Yeah, and he does it the old-fashioned way.
He does it the old-fashioned way.
He just gets a confession out of this.
And I saw him last week doing King Lear.
Sure.
Have you tackled that yet?
No, I think I have a couple more years to do that. That's on my list, but it's down the line a little bit more. Yeah.
It's pretty harrowing stuff for the audience, and I just wonder, Paul, if you can give us an insight. If you're playing something as dramatic as that, what is the sort of come down period after the gig, as far as you're concerned?
Oh my gosh! I've been in some plays. Mostly plays are really the hardest to do than movies, even though movies have their own envelope of investment, emotional investment. I think when long plays that you have that are really different, long roles. I mean, I can remember really, my wife, gently making ossobuco on a Monday and a cold day in New York on my only day off, just to kind of having a whole day of rest. I mean, and I know that big parts like that really are. They when you invest in them, like anybody, you invest emotionally in them, even as you're doing the work. They change your life. I know Phil Hoffman was talking about that. Philip Seymour Hoffman doing Death of a Salesman, which I saw recently, directed by Mike Nichols on Broadway, and it really does. It makes you slightly, you tend to go home after the show and end up, even as a young man, resting and taking care of yourself, because it's like physically and emotionally like draining completely.
And the great thing for me is at 12 o'clock I skip home light-hearted.
You
Paul,
do.
I've got 2 words to say to you before we go.
King Lear.
Scott Capurro.
Scott Capurro. I was going to say that. Steve from Bathgate also had texted in as well.
It was Scott Capurro.
Oh, good. There you go.
Paul, a great pleasure to talk to you this morning. Many thanks for being with us.
You're
and
welcome.
Enjoy your time in London watching the plays on the West End, and you will see him possibly in the audience watching James Corden next week if you're in New York. Let's find out what's going on around Scotland, shall we?